For millennia, Earth had been overlooked, catalogued as a minor, unremarkable world, one among billions in the galaxy. Alien civilizations, driven by curiosity, greed, and ambition, believed the planet a prize, rich in resources, strategically located, and seemingly primitive. Surveys were sent, fleets dispatched, and scouts deployed. Each arrival met with initial fascination, then surprise, then panic. The first wave of alien explorers arrived cautiously, expecting minimal resistance. They observed human settlements, technology that seemed rudimentary by galactic standards, and a species that appeared fragile, divided, and easy to subdue. Reports flooded the interstellar databases: primitive planet, low threat, high resource potential. Ambition overtook caution. Plans for occupation, resource extraction, and even experimentation were quickly drafted, but Earth had waited. Humanity had evolved under pressures and conditions that no alien mind could fully comprehend. Every step in human history had been a trap: survival against extinction events, adaptation to hostile environments, and development of cunning strategies to exploit even the smallest advantage. The planet itself seemed ordinary, but it had been honed over billions of years to prepare its inhabitants for the unexpected. The first incursion was met with apparent confusion. Alien ships descended, assuming the humans would flee or submit. Instead, humanity responded in ways that defied expectation. Defensive systems, seemingly primitive, activated with precision. Electromagnetic pulses, improvised weapons, and unexpected countermeasures disabled advanced alien technology. Scouts were trapped, ambushed, or incapacitated. The aliens realized something unsettling: the humans were not merely defending, they had planned for them. As fleets arrived, confident in their superiority, Earth's true defenses emerged. Environmental manipulation, cybernetic countermeasures, and tactical deception turned the planet into a deadly trap. Spaceports collapsed under invisible energy grids. Orbital assaults were funneled into ambush zones. Every alien assumption was exploited, every technological advantage was neutralized. The alien sense of control vanished. Across the galaxy, whispers spread: the planet they thought was a prize was a calculated threat. Earth was a labyrinth of strategy, cunning, and prepared chaos. The humans were not weak, not primitive, not expendable, they were predators in their own right. Every invasion attempt became a lesson in terror. The realization struck the alien fleets simultaneously and with devastating clarity: they had walked into a trap designed by a species they underestimated at their peril. The stage was set. Earth was no longer a target to be conquered, it was a battlefield where the predator disguised as prey had already set the rules. The galaxy would never see the humans the same way again. As the second wave of alien forces approached, the magnitude of Earth's deception became impossible to ignore. Fleets that had anticipated an easy conquest now faced an array of defenses that defied logic. Satellites were repurposed as weapons, planetary shields appeared in moments, and the humans had anticipated every predictable strike. Alien commanders began to realize that what they had assumed was a primitive planet was, in reality, a highly coordinated and lethal trap. Initial orbital assaults met with devastating failure. Alien ships, bristling with superior technology, fell into gravitational mazes, electromagnetic snares, and precision-guided ambushes orchestrated from Earth itself. Entire squadrons were disabled before they could land troops. Alien strategists, once confident in their superiority, were forced to retreat, regroup, and rethink. Reports flooded in with a tone of disbelief and fear: they expected us. They planned for everything. This is unprecedented. On the ground, human forces moved with uncanny coordination. Cities that appeared vulnerable acted as command hubs and tactical centers, integrating civilian ingenuity with military strategy. Engineers transformed everyday structures into defensive strongholds. Holographic decoys, electromagnetic traps, and improvised weapons turned ordinary terrain into deadly zones for any invading force. Every incursion was met not just with resistance but with a calculated counterattack. tailored to exploit alien weaknesses and miscalculations. Alien scientists and tacticians convened, stunned by the complexity of Earth's defenses. Every invasion route had been predicted, every strike had a countermeasure. The humans had not merely defended, they had orchestrated an intricate web of traps designed to mislead, confuse, and annihilate superior forces. The planet's inhabitants displayed a combination of intuition, creativity, and ruthless efficiency that alien minds struggled to comprehend. As the battle escalated, the galaxy began to understand a chilling reality: Earth was not a prize to be taken. It was a weaponized world, a fortress designed by a species who had evolved under adversity, cunning, and unpredictability. Alien fleets that had once dismissed the planet now moved cautiously, wary of every shadow, every maneuver, every seemingly insignificant signal. It became painfully clear: humanity had mastered the art of controlled chaos. They were not just surviving, they were dictating the terms of engagement. The aliens' confidence evaporated, replaced with fear, respect, and the dawning realization that Earth's humans were not prey. They were predators, and the planet itself was the trap from which no invader could escape unscathed. The galaxy began to whisper a new understanding: the prize they sought was a ruse. And those they had underestimated were far more dangerous than any civilization had anticipated. Earth had revealed its secret, and with it, humanity's true power, a combination of foresight, cunning, and the ability to turn any expectation of weakness into a decisive advantage. The third phase of confrontation revealed the full extent of humanity's cunning. Alien commanders, desperate to salvage the failing invasion, attempted to coordinate massive strikes, deploying elite fleets and advanced weaponry to overwhelm Earth's defenses. But every maneuver was anticipated, every approach countered, and every advantage nullified. The humans seemed to move not reactively, but proactively. Predicting alien strategy with alarming accuracy, orbital battles became nightmarish mazes for alien forces. Earth's gravitational traps redirected fleets into asteroid fields, while decoy satellites emitted signals that mimicked planetary energy signatures, causing confusion and misfires. Alien ships, despite superior technology, collided or were disabled by ingenious electromagnetic snares crafted from repurposed human technology. Analysts admitted privately, "Our sensors lie to us. Our attacks fail before they even begin." This is no ordinary defense, it is a system designed to think ahead of us. On the planet's surface, humans exploited every terrain advantage. Forests, deserts, and urban environments were transformed into complex defensive networks. Civilian structures became fortified command posts, laboratories turned into energy weapon hubs, and underground networks allowed rapid movement of troops and supplies. Alien ground forces, expecting minimal resistance, found themselves trapped in zones of controlled chaos. Ambushes struck from multiple directions, exploiting both alien assumptions and overconfidence. Human ingenuity extended to psychological warfare. Decoys, misinformation, and unpredictable tactics disoriented alien leaders. Command chains were disrupted, fleets hesitated, and even the most disciplined alien soldiers began to doubt their own strategies. Humans failed in ways that seemed chaotic, but every apparent misstep served a greater purpose: creating openings, exploiting weaknesses, and turning disorder into victory. The alien coalition, once confident, now convened in panic. "Every action we take," one commander admitted, "they have already accounted for it. Every weakness we exploit becomes their strength. We are trapped in a web we cannot untangle." Across star systems, reports confirmed the same horrifying truth: Earth was no longer a target, it was a battlefield carefully orchestrated by its inhabitants, whose foresight and cunning made every conventional strategy obsolete. By now, it was clear that humanity had turned what appeared to be failure into a weapon. The galaxy's most advanced civilizations, who prided themselves on strategy and superior technology, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Every attempt at conquest had become an education in the terrifying adaptability of humans. Earth was not just a planet. It was a trap, an intricate, lethal system designed by a species who had mastered chaos and transformed it into dominance. The aliens had come seeking a prize, and instead, they had unleashed their own fear, respect, and realization that the humans were predators, not prey. By the fourth stage, the scale of humanity's trap had become fully apparent. Alien fleets, once confident in their superiority, were now caught in a vast network of interlinked defenses spanning land, sea, air, and space. What they had assumed would be an easy conquest had become a nightmare, a planet and a species prepared for every contingency, turning every action into a potential failure for the invaders. From orbit, alien ships were funneled into deadly corridors by massive energy grids disguised as natural anomalies. Atmospheric manipulation created turbulence that made conventional maneuvers impossible. Fleets attempting coordinated strikes found themselves isolated, separated by invisible fields of force, ambushed by human fighters and unmanned drones that appeared from unexpected angles. Alien command protocols began to crumble as communication signals were jammed, rerouted, or falsified by Earth's countermeasures. On the planet's surface, the humans orchestrated multi-layer defenses that combined science, strategy, and improvisation. Forests, mountains, and urban centers became deadly labyrinths. Civilians and soldiers moved seamlessly, coordinating attacks that leveraged terrain, technology, and psychological tactics. Alien ground forces, expecting disorganized humans, were systematically funneled into traps. Every mistake humans made seemed to lure aliens deeper into zones of calculated destruction, but the brilliance of the trap was not limited to technology and strategy, it was psychological. The aliens began to hesitate, overthink, and doubt. Every predictable reaction was exploited. Human forces, acting in apparent chaos, struck with precision. They failed to follow expected tactics, creating openings and advantages that alien commanders could not anticipate. The planet itself became a chessboard, and every alien move played into the humans' hands. Reports across the galaxy confirmed a horrifying realization: Earth was no longer just a trap, it was a teaching instrument, a demonstration of a species that could weaponize unpredictability. Analysts admitted in private forums, this species is impossible to categorize. Their failures are intentional, yet each failure strengthens them. They are not just surviving, they are controlling the engagement. Even the most advanced alien civilizations, who had dominated entire sectors for millennia, were forced to reconsider their assumptions. No fleet, no weapon, no plan could fully account for humans. Every test of strength, every incursion, every attack became a lesson in humility, a demonstration of how deeply wrong they had been to underestimate a species they believed to be primitive and weak. By the end of the fourth stage, one undeniable truth had emerged: Earth was a trap, meticulously designed by its inhabitants. Those who had come seeking a prize now understood that the planet, and its people, were predators in disguise. Humanity's apparent failures, improvisations, and unpredictability had revealed a terrifying, unquantifiable power. The galaxy had sought a prize and found instead a force that could challenge even the mightiest civilizations. By the fifth stage, the scale of humanity's trap had expanded beyond imagination. Alien forces, once confident in their technology and numbers, now faced a reality they had never prepared for. Humans were not only defending their planet, they were dictating the terms of the engagement across multiple theaters of conflict. The invaders' assumptions were systematically dismantled, and retreat no longer guaranteed safety. Alien fleets that attempted to regroup were funneled into controlled zones of fire. Orbital installations, which should have been their bases of power, were transformed into death traps. Human engineers and scientists had anticipated every standard tactic, converting enemy attacks into opportunities for counterstrikes. Drones, stealth units, and autonomous vehicles struck from angles that alien sensors could not detect. Entire squadrons were disabled before they could even engage. On the planetary surface, humans demonstrated their mastery of strategy and improvisation. Forests, cities, and deserts were transformed into multi-layered defensive networks. Civilian populations moved with tactical coordination, assisting soldiers and engineers. Natural resources were weaponized, rivers redirected to impede alien vehicles, mountains rigged with concealed energy cannons. and urban centers equipped with adaptive fortifications that could be redeployed in real time. Each apparent human mistake lured alien forces deeper into zones of destruction. The psychological impact on alien commanders was devastating. Their troops hesitated, confused by unpredictability that violated every prior understanding of warfare. Conventional logic failed them. Every move the aliens made was anticipated, countered, or turned against them. Humanity had weaponized chaos itself, turning what should have been vulnerability into an unstoppable advantage. Beyond Earth, humans demonstrated their reach. Small, elite teams infiltrated alien command networks, sabotaging communication and navigation systems. Advanced but improvisational technologies allowed humans to manipulate energy grids, shields, and propulsion systems of alien vessels. Fleets that had once seemed invincible were reduced to disorder and confusion by human ingenuity. Across the galaxy, reports and whispers spread. Earth was not a planet to conquer, it was a trap, meticulously designed by a species whose unpredictability and ingenuity far exceeded all projections. What the aliens had assumed was a primitive world filled with weak prey was, in reality, a strategic masterpiece. Humanity's failures, improvisations, and apparent recklessness were the very tools they used to dominate the engagement. By the end of the fifth stage, one terrifying truth had become unavoidable: humans were not just surviving, they were controlling the battlefield. The galaxy had believed Earth to be a prize. Instead, it was a weapon, and its inhabitants were predators capable of outthinking and outmaneuvering even the most advanced civilizations. The day the aliens realized Earth was a trap had arrived, and no species would ever underestimate humanity again. By the sixth stage, the aliens' desperation had reached unprecedented levels. Entire fleets, previously confident in their superiority, were immobilized in corridors of Earth's design. Every maneuver they attempted seemed anticipated before it began. What they had assumed would be a simple conquest had revealed itself as a labyrinth of lethal precision. Constructed by a species they had consistently underestimated, alien commanders attempted to strike simultaneously at multiple targets, hoping to overwhelm human defenses. But each strike was funneled into carefully orchestrated traps. Energy fields redirected ships into asteroid belts, planetary defenses neutralized their weapons with precision, and human pilots executed unpredictable maneuvers that alien algorithms could not calculate. Fleets that had once dominated entire systems were shattered or forced into retreat before achieving a single victory. On the ground, human forces displayed a terrifying combination of adaptability and foresight. Urban landscapes became tactical mazes. Forests and deserts concealed hidden weaponry and ambush zones. Civilians acted as integral parts of the defense, coordinating logistics, repairing critical infrastructure, and even deceiving alien forces with misinformation and decoy tactics. Every apparent human error was a calculated move to exploit alien weaknesses and manipulate the battlefield. Alien fleets attempting cyber and energy attacks found themselves trapped by humanity's improvisation. Communication networks were rerouted to create false signals. Energy weapons were reflected or absorbed using repurposed technology. Even the most advanced alien ships, designed for interstellar dominance, were neutralized through a combination of ingenuity and unpredictability. Humanity had turned failure into a weapon and chaos into strategy. The psychological toll on alien commanders was immense. Confidence and discipline eroded as every plan failed. Fleets hesitated, troops doubted their orders, and alien scientists questioned their own understanding of strategy and physics. The realization was horrifying: humans were not weak, and Earth was not vulnerable. Every apparent mistake, every deviation from expectation, had been meticulously planned to trap, confuse, and destroy. Across the galaxy, the whispers became undeniable: Earth was a trap, not a prize. The species that had seemed primitive, disorganized, and expendable had weaponized its very unpredictability. The humans had demonstrated a terrifying capacity to adapt, improvise, and dominate through apparent failure. No simulation, no algorithm, no fleet could anticipate their next move. The galaxy understood, with mounting dread, that they were facing a species whose mastery of chaos had turned a defenseless planet into an impregnable fortress. By the end of the sixth stage, alien fleets were in full retreat, their confidence shattered, their strategies dismantled, and their belief in an easy victory completely destroyed. Humanity had revealed its true power, not in raw force, but in cunning, adaptability, and an ability to turn every expectation of weakness into a trap. The aliens finally understood the terrifying truth: Earth was never a prize. It was a carefully prepared snare, and those who had underestimated it would pay the price. By the seventh stage, the scale and genius of humanity's trap were undeniable. Alien forces, once confident in their ability to conquer Earth, were now scattered, confused, and demoralized. Fleets that had boasted technological superiority were crippled, their coordination disrupted, and their strategies repeatedly exploited by humans who seemed always one step ahead. Earth's defenses had evolved beyond simple military might. The planet itself acted as a living fortress. Cities, forests, mountains, and oceans were integrated into a vast defensive network. Energy grids rerouted attacks, orbital satellites created lethal traps, and electromagnetic pulses disabled alien ships mid-flight. Humans had transformed their world into a weapon, where every weak point was a lure, and every apparent vulnerability became a strategic advantage. Alien leaders attempted desperate tactics, deploying elite strike teams to bypass human defenses. Yet the humans anticipated these moves with uncanny precision. Ambushes, decoys, and environmental manipulations ensured that every alien maneuver backfired. Entire armies found themselves corralled into zones designed to neutralize their numbers and technology. Where aliens expected chaos, humans imposed controlled chaos that favored them. Human ingenuity extended beyond physical defenses. Psychological warfare, misinformation, and unpredictable tactics destabilized alien morale. The invaders hesitated, questioned their plans, and even doubted their understanding of human logic. Every failure the humans appeared to make was, in reality, a calculated step in a larger design. The planet itself seemed alive with strategy, turning what should have been victory for the aliens into total disaster. Across the galaxy, the story spread like wildfire. Alien civilizations began to realize that Earth was never a prize, but a trap of unprecedented sophistication. Every species that had underestimated humanity now reconsidered its assumptions. Scholars, tacticians, and fleet commanders admitted the unthinkable: humans were not only capable of defending their planet, they were capable of reshaping the entire battlefield to their advantage. The final confrontation confirmed humanity's dominance. Alien fleets, cornered and disoriented, were forced into retreat or annihilation. Human forces, unified and adaptive, struck with precision from every direction. The planet's natural and artificial defenses worked in harmony, turning Earth into a living testament to cunning, foresight, and resilience. By the end of the seventh stage, the aliens had learned the ultimate lesson: Earth was not a planet to claim, nor a civilization to dominate. It was a trap, meticulously designed and flawlessly executed by a species they had assumed weak and expendable. Humanity had turned apparent vulnerability into strength, improvisation into strategy, and unpredictability into a weapon that the galaxy could neither control nor anticipate. The day the aliens realized the truth marked a turning point in galactic history. Humanity had revealed that they were not merely survivors, they were masters of the battlefield, architects of deception, and predators in a universe that had never expected them to rise so effectively. The galaxy would never view Earth, or its inhabitants, the same way again. By the eighth and final stage, humanity had completed the orchestration of its ultimate trap. Alien forces, fractured and demoralized, were now scattered across the solar system, their fleets crippled, their strategies neutralized, and their morale shattered. What had been intended as an easy conquest had become a cautionary tale of hubris, ingenuity, and underestimation. Earth itself had become a fortress and a weapon. Cities, forests, mountains, and oceans were seamlessly integrated into defensive networks. Orbital platforms and satellites created invisible grids of energy that funneled alien ships into kill zones. Electromagnetic and gravitational traps disrupted propulsion systems, while underground networks allowed humans to appear where they were least expected. Every landscape was weaponized, and every apparent vulnerability was a lure. On the surface, humans executed precision strikes, coordinated ambushes, and improvisational countermeasures with unmatched efficiency. Civilians, scientists, engineers, and soldiers operated as a single organism, their ingenuity turning even environmental disasters into tactical advantages. Every apparent human failure, the chaotic movements, improvised weaponry, and unpredictable maneuvers, was revealed as deliberate, amplifying the aliens' confusion and fear. Alien fleets attempted desperate last-minute offensives. Elite strike teams infiltrated urban centers, orbital bombardments rained down, and cyber attacks sought to disrupt human coordination. Yet each attempt was anticipated, countered, or redirected. Alien commanders, once confident in their technological superiority, were forced to acknowledge the unthinkable. Humans had not only prepared for every scenario, they had created scenarios where failure became their weapon. Across the galaxy, the story of Earth's trap spread with terrifying clarity. Civilizations that had once underestimated humanity were now forced to reconsider their assumptions. Earth was not a prize. It was a crucible. It was proof that a species thought to be weak could weaponize unpredictability, improvisation, and sheer will to dominate even the most advanced forces. Humanity had turned chaos into strategy, vulnerability into advantage, and deception into absolute power. By the end of the final stage, alien forces either retreated or lay incapacitated, forced to abandon the planet and reconsider every notion of human potential. Humanity had emerged unbowed, victorious not only in survival but in strategy, foresight, and ingenuity. The planet they had sought to conquer had been a trap, and the species they had sought to underestimate had revealed itself as the ultimate predator. The galaxy had learned an indelible lesson: never mistake apparent weakness for fragility, never assume predictability, and never underestimate a species that thrives in adversity. Earth was no prize. It was a testament to cunning, resilience, and mastery. And its inhabitants, humans, stood unbowed, proving that intelligence, creativity, and willpower could turn the tables on the universe itself. The day the aliens realized the truth marked a turning point in galactic history. Humanity had transformed from prey into predator, from underestimated to unstoppable. And in that moment, the galaxy knew, Earth would never again be approached as a prize, for it was a trap, and humanity, its ultimate architect. The story ended with a clear truth: the humans had not merely survived, they had triumphed, and the galaxy would never forget the day it underestimated Earth.